in August of 2020. My mom got diagnosed with glioblastoma brain cancer, which threw us all for a wrench. She started kind of getting some symptoms of forgetting things. That she's been the financial person of my house all my life, and she started forgetting numbers, and she forgot just so many things that she usually is on. So we started saying, what's really going on? And that was when the journey of her chemo and her cancer started, and it was about a 6-month process of that, of both of them having cancer, where my dad was actually getting better, but my mom quickly, within 6 months, she declined really fast. She had to end up giving up with chemo because it was just so much. And 6 months later, she passed. And we were with her in that room. It was just so God was with us, and His presence was moving, and we got to say goodbye to her when she took her last breath. So there's grief in that, but there's also just hope and knowing that Jesus is by our side, right? And that's really the theme of our last 2 years is He's been by our side the whole time. And so that's just really cool knowing that. And so she passed. That was really hard. My dad had a really hard time with that. And
during that time, I had become pregnant, and we had become pregnant with our daughter Jubilee. And so this is where we know God's love for us is so real, because in this hardship of pain and grief and complete darkness for our families, we were blessed to have life growing inside of us. And if y'all would ever see her, she is the splitting image of David and his mama. And she's such a joy, and she's definitely the rose amongst these ashes that we're still sifting through, and we're still putting language around, because language is actually really hard when it comes to all of this. But that was the 2020, 2021.
Yeah, so we got
years.
to tell my dad. Yeah. So we got to tell him, hey, you're gonna have a grandbaby, and he was just so excited. And in that time, his knee started giving out randomly and started falling every now and then and losing his balance. And we were just like, what's going on? He's never done this. And it just kind of kept happening with both knees. Then it started kind of coming up to his arms and his wrists, and he needed a walker for a bit. And we finally got down to a diagnosis where he got an autoimmune disease called CIDP, where it was slowly attacking his nerves in his body, where it was affecting literally every part of his muscle. And so that was what a 4-month kind of trajectory, where it just was, again, just kept going downhill so fast. And we were told by the doctors, everything's gonna be good, right? They were giving us tons of hope, it's just gonna be, each time, hey, just give it a month of physical therapy, he'll be right back. And then the next time we'd see him, it'd get worse, and it'd be like, all right, just give another 6 months, he'll be good. Kept getting worse. Hey, another year, but he'll be good. And then when it got really bad, he basically couldn't move. He was paralyzed from his head down. And one morning we got the dreaded call at 4 a.m. that the caregiver called us saying he wasn't breathing, and it was heart-wrenching because we just had so much hope that he was going to be okay. And that was that rocked. My mom rocked us in her passing, but this one was just I still got anger, I still got things I'm sifting through with the Lord of why, what happened with that? Jesus, what's going on with that? But that's what happened. Those are the last 2 years for us, and really in that process of them both passing away, my sister and I, we inherited the money and kind of everything that, I was 29 at the time, my sister was 31, and we had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know what to do. We had no idea what the next steps were in any of it. It just was this unknown where we how do we even, literally, what's our next step? We just went day by day of trying to figure things out. And so we kept moving forward and got an inheritance. And that, again, I disclaimed at the top of, if we were to trade it all away, we'd want my parents back and be in debt, But that's kind of the last 2 years when it comes to just our story and our testimony, but how how God has given us joy still in the midst of it, and in the midst of grieving, and understanding like the greatest loss that I've ever felt, along with the greatest joy of having a daughter and her bringing life, and having the best marriage and wife, all at the same time, of just trying to navigate those things. But God was with us the whole time, and I could say that like confidently. So.